One thing which you've got a lot of experience in is international business development and developing business from nothing. Can you walk us through a little bit more about that process and how you've gone from taking ideas in people's heads and turning them into multi-million dollar operations and business arms?
Uh, yes, business development is one of my favorite things in life. I've always enjoyed developing something from nothing. Sometimes a lot of companies have products, they have ideas, and they have strategies that are quite effective in certain markets, be that domestic or one or two other countries. But I think when you have a big idea about something that has a lot of potential, there's a huge amount of scoping and research that needs to be done to see if what you have is a good idea, whether it can be implemented, and whether or not it's going to make money and be feasible. And yeah, when I think back about the ingredients business and the dairy industry, when I was part of that, there were a lot of good ideas back then, and companies were always looking for opportunities. But most importantly, you need to do your homework before you get involved in launching any new type of product. It doesn't matter how many good benefits there might be. If you don't do your homework, it's going to cost you dearly potentially. So, yeah, one of my favorite things to do is to develop business, but I'm always mindful of the time it does take to research what you're wanting to launch or what you're wanting to do. And that's where, marketing research comes in. Some travel is effective sometimes when you need to meet people that are involved in businesses that you want to target, and just to get ideas from these people as to what their thoughts are on a new supplier or new potential supplier.
So, a lot of the international business development does require travel to go and see the people in person and shake their hand and discuss the proposal which you have for them and the products which you are wanting to sell. Can you walk us through the preparation that you would normally do when going to a meeting with these particular people?
Yes. Look, I'm a big proponent of face-to-face time. I think when you meet people face to face, it's a different setup and a different scenario. You look across a table, you look into their eyes, and I think you build up a trust and credibility that is harder to do if you did it telephonically or by email or whatever other means you want to use. So, if you're wanting to launch an ingredient into a particular market, if it's a unique ingredient, it's different. People are always going to be a lot more interested. But if it's maybe a generic type of product, another Me Too type of ingredient, you really have to case the market out, scope it well, strategize as to who your customers or potential customers could be, but you need to gauge their interest in changing from their current suppliers. It's important to meet the right people. I know sometimes you have to meet other people to direct you to the right people, but you need to figure out fairly quickly who the decision makers are in business. And I think when it comes to certain products, you may need to meet with technical people, R&D type of people, scientists. You might need to meet with the chief honcho or chief executive or senior management team of a company to assess whether or not there's potential to do business. So all of these things need to be taken into account when you're trying to develop new business for a product. And it doesn't matter if that product is an existing one or a Me Too one or something totally unique and different. You still have to go through the same process. It's never easy to develop new business. It's a lot easier, in my opinion, to sell something than it is to develop new business for something, because it's a different way of doing things. Selling is relatively easy at the right price point, but developing business is a completely different ball game. If you don't have customers yet, how do you develop them? Where do you develop them? What do you need to do to develop business? It's hugely important that you do your homework. And this homework could stretch from 1 month through 12 months. And business I've done in Japan in the past, it can take up to 2 years to develop a business from the first time that you meet with a potential customer. There's a lot of stuff and a lot of water that flows under the bridge before meeting that first time and actually loading a container.